Okay, this is where I'm at on this transmission. Get the motor in, that's all installed, ready to go. What I did was, the transmission that came with it is a Turbo 350, and I hooked everything up, drivetrain, drive shaft, replaced all the U-joints. U-joints are all brand new, drive shafts all cleaned up and painted, and had that all installed. Took it out for a ride, spun the tires, and then parked it, and then about a couple days later I was gonna tweak it a little bit, took it out, and now the 350, the Turbo 350, well, now it only has reverse. It doesn't go forward. So everything I've written, well, not written, but wrote up on is once that happens, then it's probably the front clutches of the transmission that I probably burnt out, and I probably didn't have enough fluid in it, and now it only goes in reverse. It goes in reverse really good, but nothing in driving forward. So what I did was, from my Pontiac, when I bought the motor for that, for the 400, it was in an old truck. The motor and tranny was an old truck, so it came with the 400, which I put in the car now, which I have cleaned all up, and I was about to put it all together. Well, the 400, the Turbo 400, has a longer shaft. It's actually longer from here. Oh, let's see if I can get that from where the bell housing is all the way to the end. It's longer. It's almost about 2 inches longer than the 350. Well, this car didn't come with the 400, so now the drive shaft, I figured, has actually is too long. So I have to go through and have it cut down. And I looked on all over for the place, and that they kind of just recommend that you actually take it into a drive shaft place and have them do that, because it has to be balanced, and you have to weld it and keep it all square, and just look like it was going to be a pain in the ass. So I looked it up and see if how much it costs to shorten the drive shaft, and I actually went to the shop right down the street, which I'll probably give them a shout out when they do it. But 85 bucks, he'll shorten the drive shaft. They're not a transmission shop, just a drive shaft place, but because I wanted to see if it was better to rebuild the 350, or because I'm not sure this 400 works, but everything I've read on the internet, the 400s are stronger than the 350, and it'll last longer and hold up to better torque, although they're a little heavier, and I'm going to have to do some modifications to it. But I talked to the guy down there, and he says it's probably better off to just keep the 400, even if I have to rebuild the 400 if it's bad as well. But because now the transmission mount is longer too, so this part here is actually farther out, because the old one was about right here, and so now the transmission mount, where these braces are, actually don't fit. So I'm going to have to modify the transmission mount and bring it back from here all the way back to meet this, which I have to weld some spots on either side. I'm going to have to weld some supports for it. So my biggest question was it cheaper to rebuild the 350 and not mess with the drive shaft and changing it out and shortening it, or would it be better to see if this 400 works, and if it runs and drives, it's going to be stronger and better for the motor, I think, especially because it's all modified. So that's what I'm doing now. I went down and talked to the guy at the drive shaft what kind of measurements he wants. What they're wanting is this measurement here. Let's see if you can get that. This measurement here, where how much it comes off, this was 5/8, and then their measurement, you stick in the yoke, because the yoke is different too, because this spline is bigger, it's wider than the 350, so I'm gonna have to get a new yoke too. So I stuck the yoke all the way in. You measure where the seal and play is, or where the yoke goes in. You measure, not measure, but mark where the yoke always slides in from that. So that's one measure you need. And then the third measurement is you need from this all the way down to the differential. to the middle of the yokes. I mean, sorry, the U joints. So I measured that. That's 61 or 61 and 5/8 is that measurement. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Just pain in the butt. I thought it was going to be nice and easy slapping from the 350 to the 400, turbo 400, but apparently everything has to be modified because of that. But the modification I think is going to be cheaper than rebuilding the 350, and then find out that it's not going to hold up to the motor anyways, because I'm going to spin the tires on this sumbitch. But that's kind of where I'm at. I had to take, I had everything bolted in. The headers were all in, exhaust was in, all the lines. I had to take all that apart just to get the new transmission in there. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'll show you the measurements that they're wanting on this as well. But this is a little sheet he gave me. And again, they wanted this measurement from the differential midway of what the U-joints are from here to here. That measurement is 61 3/4 on the Le Mans. And then this measurement here from the seal to the outside of the shaft is 5/8. And then what I did with the yoke is here. So he gave me a yoke just to use for the measurement. So I stuck this all the way into the transmission, and then I just marked it, and then I put some tape and then put some seal on it, or told him that's where the mark is actually. So this much goes into the transmission over the shaft. And this is my drive shaft, so I'll have to change this. He said 85 bucks. I don't know if that includes the yoke or not, because this thing will have to be changed out. But yeah, 85 bucks. He said it'd be done in about a day or two, and that's kind of where I'm at. It pissed me off when I put all that shit in there, but you know, you learn as you go. I couldn't really tell if the transmission was good that came with the car or not. He said it was rebuilt, but it ends up being a piece of shit. So hopefully the 400 is good, and I have no idea. But if I'm going to rebuild either one of them, I'd rather rebuild the 400 than this piece of shit 350. So the only thing that they say that better about the 350 is, at least what I read, was that you don't lose as much horsepower, and it was like 15 or 20 horsepower you lose by using a 400 compared to a 350. But it leaked. It had some seals leak, and you know, just odds and ends things kind of pissing me off. But you know, like I said, learn as you go. All right, that's it. I'll update you once I get the shaft back. All right, bye.